Damn, Perk did this?
I don't need no one to save me. I was born to be the greatest. All that time in that basement, all that time isn't wasted. Rapping getting faded. I just wanna tell my mom that I made it. Just wanna be the topic of the conversation. Used to rock the gold plated. Now I'm wearing gold chains like I'm famous.
You self-motivated yourself now, like has that something like you've always had your whole life, or was that something as you've gotten older, mature, like that's just something that you just had to kind of give yourself? Because usually there's some people, they're not able to self-motivate, and they have to be spoken to by other people to actually motivate themselves. Now I get it. I guess it was a bit of a culture shock for you coming into that situation, and then you had also the situation with your biological mother, so you had that on top of that. But after a couple of days you were able to talk yourself out of it, and and accept this is your reality, and you can't just wallow in misery. So I guess that's a long-winded statement, but my question is, have you always been able to self-motivate yourself?
My personality have always been like that.
Okay.
I've always been a little tough cookie. I've always been a tough soldier. And I would always say you could put me in a desert and I'll find water, because I believe that attitude is everything. And I really learned that more about myself during my incarceration. Because remind you, coming out of a Haitian household, it was my first time in trouble, and never imagined that I would get so many years behind bars. There, all I had was memories of my family in the back of my mind, but I had no one that I could relate to like my peers. So then I really, really had to put mind over matter to practice, not just put it to words, not just something that we talk about or procrastinate about. No, I had to actually apply it to my life. And because life in prison is difficult, it's a different culture. The girls were mean, they were tough. And I had to adjust, but all the while not lose myself, because this was something that I'm passing through. And only thing I've always asked God to do for me in the midst of it was, I remember asking him August 6th, 2009. This was my first time being able to talk to my mother. So like, I remember this day. I asked God, do not send me out the same woman that came in. So keep me in here 15 years, if that's what it took to remove whatever brought me in here. So the self-talks came from the things that I encountered, the racism I dealt with in prison, the loneliness you deal with in prison, the months that family didn't write you a letter, the time just as a woman, I spent most of my 20s in prison, what a lot of people don't know. So that's the time that a young woman is like, that's the prime of your life. Right. So, and technology at that time, like, started taking off. So while I'm in there 5 years, people coming in and they telling you things that's happening. So now I'm in my cell thinking like, damn, it's flying cars, it's all this and all that happening out there in the world. And here I am in here, got myself locked up being stupid. And so it was constantly, and I was around some of my peers that committed suicide. So I seen several of my peers, beautiful young women, black, white. It didn't have a tie to it, that literally took their own life. So waking up to that, anybody that's been in that situation will tell you every day you had to choose to be happy. And choosing to be happy every day is by conditioning your mind.
Right. Yeah, definitely mental toughness. I commend you for that. Now we're going to talk about Now you transitioning into doing what you're doing. You said that you were working with people. So what was the first project that you did, and what led you to that first project? And then we'll kind of start from that standpoint.
The first project that I did was build a house for extended family members. What led me to doing that project is coming back into Haiti. I was trying to find something in which I could relate to.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to visit places that I remember specks of. You know, like the last place I was at before leaving. I never, that image I never forgot. Like, even from that young of an age, I remember vividly, like, my last day in Haiti, where I slept, who was there. So I wanted to go and visit. And because I don't really know places, you know, you kind of have to wait on people to meet you somewhere and then for them to take you there. Well, finally, I had been in Haiti a couple of months when my aunt, who lives in Dominican Republic, finally came back, and she comes to meet me and to take me to where I spent the last night in Haiti at. And when I arrived there, my brother, I just want to say it was one of the saddest nights for me, one of the saddest days. And I just didn't say a thing. I couldn't say a thing. I had mixed feelings too, because in the back of my mind, I was like, I know my parents, they worked hard and have sent money back home, and money have been misused, which a lot of Haitian people do. And they think that when they misuse funds that's intended for them, that somehow they're getting over on a diaspora, when in reality, they're not getting over on anybody but messing themselves up. So it was then that I knew leaving, when I turned around to leave that yard, I had found strength too. And I said, I'm going to do something there, because like the roof was crushed. When I went to visit, I went to actually walk in, but I couldn't walk in because, you know, the minute you step foot in somewhere, what you see just is too much for you. So I'm like, the roof is caved in, yada, yada, yada. Anyway, make a long story short, in between time, I was already working with kids, teaching them English and just doing some community work of my own, because at that time, the country was still facing a hard time, being on and off lockdown all of the time. So I ended up how my first project came to place is with all that I was doing, I ended up coming across Philly Dom. And
shout out to Philly Dom.
Shout out to Philly. Shout out to Philly. And there, Philly and I, you know, Philly is Boss Mike, who's always on the channel with me, people. And we did the introduction, and I kind of felt like what I wanted to do on YouTube was not really cool, or what I wanted to share with the world wasn't cool, but I was going to take my chances. And when I spoke to Philly, Philly's like, that's cool. He's like, shit, we're going to do that. He's like, people, you know, you got good people in the world. You know how Philly is, you know. He's like, nah, that's cool. You know, you got good people in the world. We're going to do that, you know. And he used his platform and was very, very kind in that aspect to push life in Haiti.